All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to today's Explainer. We are unpacking a completely fascinating concept today, pulling from a really extraordinary source text that details spiritual dialogues with extraterrestrial souls. We're going to be exploring what the text describes as this profound cosmic juxtaposition. In esoteric lore, we hear all these established stereotypes about certain alien species. But our source material today completely flips one of the biggest ones right on its head. It introduces us to something you'd probably never expect, a herbivore reptilian. It's just a brilliant look at how, even across the cosmos, identity might be way more complex than we ever assumed.
So, can a reptilian actually be a pacifist? If you're familiar at all with these kinds of extraterrestrial narratives, you already know that reptilians are pretty much universally depicted as aggressive, conquering, fiercely competitive beings. They're basically framed as the ultimate cosmic predators. Yet the text we're examining today presents a detailed spiritual dialogue that immediately challenges that whole aggressive stereotype. We're going to look at the specific account of a soul who completely defies her own species' fierce reputation.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. Unlocking past alien memories. 2. The peaceful herbivore reptilian. 3. Horns, tails, forked tongues. 4. Life as a Buddhist nun. 5. The principle of evolution. And finally, 6. A beautiful reptilian future.
Section 1. Unlocking past alien memories. A hidden past revealed.
To really grasp the weight of this narrative, we need to understand the unique setup presented in our source material. The book impartially documents a spiritual reading conducted with a present-day female staff member. And, according to the text, this session unlocked her hidden spiritual lineage, revealing that her soul actually originated from Centaurus Beta. So, the conversation that unfolds, which is the whole basis of our explainer today, is presented as a direct dialogue with this extraterrestrial soul speaking right through her present-day human incarnation. It's this fascinating framework that lets us explore these massive cosmic perspectives through a really grounded human lens. Moving on to Section 2, the peaceful herbivore reptilian, a cosmic dichotomy. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it brings the core contrast of our source text into sharp focus. On one side, we have the carnivore reptilians. These are the ones who align with all that standard lore we talked about. They're aggressive, they actively promote fierce competition, and they definitely view themselves as conquerors. But on the flip side, our subject places herself firmly in the herbivore category. She describes herself as completely peace-loving. Instead of conquering, she actively seeks integration and harmony. And most profoundly, the text highlights her deep belief in God's love. She literally has no interest in domination. She's entirely focused on spiritual coexistence.
Section 3. Horns, tails, forked tongues. Her physical traits.
Okay, so we've established her peaceful nature, but we absolutely have to talk about her physical reality back on Centaurus Beta. Because she wasn't some ethereal, soft-glowing humanoid. According to the text, her original physical traits included a horned head, a heavily scaled lizard-like body, a thick, powerful crocodile-like tail, and a forked or two-pronged tongue. I mean, these are undeniably fearsome attributes. If you ran into this being, your first instinct would probably be absolute terror. Yet housed right inside this intimidating, predatory exterior is the soul of a gentle, peace-seeking herbivore. Talk about not judging a book by its cover, right? Even on a galactic scale.
Section 4. Life as a Buddhist nun. A spiritual journey.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because you have to wonder, how does a horned, lizard-like being from Centaurus Beta end up navigating life on Earth? Well, it's an incredible chronological journey. She begins on Centaurus Beta. Then, roughly 1,000 years ago, she makes this conscious decision to migrate to Earth. But get this, step 3 is where it gets truly wild. When incarnating on Earth, she didn't choose the life of a warlord or a powerful emperor. The source text reveals she actually lived a past life as a Buddhist nun. Just think about that for a second. A soul from a famously aggressive alien species consciously chooses a life dedicated entirely to asceticism, meditation, and peace in a Buddhist temple. And this ultimately leads her to her present-day incarnation as an ordinary female staff member, just quietly continuing her spiritual evolution right here among us.
Section 5. The principle of evolution. Reframing strength. Now you might be wondering, does she just completely reject her whole reptilian heritage? Well, according to the source text, no, she doesn't. The text defines this core reptilian philosophy called the principle of evolution. In its rawest form, this principle is all about the rigorous pursuit of strength, survival, and continuous, almost ruthless growth. It's literally the engine that drives her species. And despite her peaceful nature, she actually acknowledges this drive within herself. She hasn't discarded it. She still values strength and growth, but she has entirely reframed what strength actually means.
So the crucial point is that instead of using her inherent drive for physical domination or some kind of galactic conquest, she redirects it. The source material explains she desires to channel this intense pursuit of strength directly towards spiritual evolution. She takes that relentless reptilian energy and uses it to fiercely pursue integration with Earthlings and to aggressively seek a deeper understanding of God's love. It's such a masterful reconciliation. She's basically using an alien survival instinct to power human spiritual empathy.
Section 6. A beautiful reptilian future. A cosmic rebranding.
Our subject isn't just hanging out here on Earth for a personal vacation. She actually has this profound, overarching mission. The source material explicitly states her grand desire is creating an image of a bright and beautiful reptilian. She is painfully aware of the dark, terrifying reputation her species holds, both across the cosmos and in our own earthly esoteric traditions. So, her goal is essentially a cosmic rebranding campaign. By living a life of peace, seeking spiritual truths, and bridging the gap between Centaurus Beta and Earth, she hopes to reshape that entire narrative. She wants to prove, once and for all, that reptilians can be harmonious, constructive, and fundamentally beautiful beings. I really want to leave you with this thought to ponder. We've just explored the fascinating account of a horned, crocodile-tailed being who migrated across the stars to study Buddhism and promote God's love. So if, according to this source material, even the most traditionally fearsome cosmic beings harbor souls that desperately seek peace and integration, what does that mean for us? What does that mean for the future of Earth and how we view the other, whether that other is someone across the street or a species across the galaxy? It is a beautiful, provocative question to carry with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep questioning the universe around you.